Joining us is evangelist and author Ray Comfort. He is also the producer of the movie 180, which has been seen by 4 million people, including 3 million views on YouTube. The movie is, it's about abortion. I don't think you would disagree that it is an anti-abortion movie. I think I want to get right into it on this topic. Why waste any time? The movie compares abortion with Hitler and the Holocaust. This is something which the Anti-Defamation League has taken exception to. It's something I take exception to as a Jew. Where do you think the comparison is that makes it a logical one?
Well, firstly, let me say I'm a Jew, and I don't like being called an evangelist because of so many televangelists continue asking for money. Yeah, it's a legitimate comparison in a couple of different senses. What Hitler did is he dehumanized the Jews. He said they're not human, and that gave him license to legalize the murder of the Jews. And that's what we've done with babies in the womb. For my whole life, a woman's having a baby when she's pregnant. She's not having a fetus. And the heartbeat begins at 2 weeks, so it's a baby in the womb. And so the comparison is legitimate. And I'm horrified that 6 million of my people were killed by Hitler, but it's 54 million Americans, 10 times the amount almost, have been killed through legalized abortion in America.
Okay, so let's stop there just briefly. There's so
Yes.
much in there that I want to unpack as much as we can and just find points of agreement or disagreement. The idea
Sure.
that a heartbeat starts at 2 weeks is a known misnomer. So what happens at 2 weeks is that cells in the heart area replicate what may appear to be a pulsing in conjunction, which some people who want to prevent abortions from being legal, say is a heartbeat. The reality is that's just not true. Also, very common is the idea, you know, we see all these graphic...
Hey, let's do one at a time, okay?
Yeah.
Firstly, we have video of the heart beating in 180 movie. You can see it for yourself. The actual heart beating on a baby in the womb. So it's scientific. The heart begins
Not at 2
beating.
weeks.
Check it out. 180movie.com. Check it for yourself.
Okay, just medically, that's not the consensus.
Scientifically, it's true.
Okay.
4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
No, you know, I don't want to comment because I don't want to misspeak. I don't have it in front of me. I just know that 2 weeks is just sympathetic pulsation of cells in the heart area. So I think there's an important distinction.
Life has begun.
Okay, so let's talk about that idea of life has begun, because I think a lot of the times when we talk to people like you, we hear this idea that, when do you think human life begins, first of all? I guess let's clarify that.
The conception.
Conception, okay.
That's when life begins. Science tells us that.
The reality, though, is that both the sperm cells and the egg cells are already living things even before conception. So really,
human life hasn't begun until there's conception. When do you think life begins?
I think that life begins when you have sentience and some level of self-awareness. I think it's at about 23 weeks.
So you wouldn't advocate abortions after 23 weeks?
I think that late-term abortions are horrible procedures, and you know,
So you're pro-life?
I'm sorry?
You're anti-abortion. You don't think they should kill babies after 20 weeks?
I think there's nobody who is pro-abortion. I think that term is a misnomer. I think the idea that liberals or people who believe women should have the right to choose want to increase the number of abortions, I think it's a despicable attack. I don't know anybody who believes abortion should be legal thinks that it would be good to have more abortions. Have you ever met people like that?
Yeah, lots. Do you think abortion is wrong then?
Do I think no, I don't think so.
So it's not morally wrong to kill a baby in the womb at 20 weeks?
I disagree that we're killing a baby, but we're going to get into a semantic argument. I want to avoid that.
I don't think so. I think it's huge.
Very often, you see graphic images and videos of late-term and third trimester abortions presented as if this is what abortion is at any point. That's something I disagree with. The other thing also is that if the average person were to see video of any number of hundreds of medically valid procedures, they would be pretty freaked out and grossed out. I don't think that that's a good barometer for figuring out what should and shouldn't be legal.
We take a completely different route.
I'm not accusing you of doing that.
Yeah, but people change their minds about abortion in a matter of seconds when they hear one question.
Tell me what the question is.
I'm not telling you it's a teaser. You're going to watch it for yourself. You know, I do magic for kids, and if I tell kids, if I show them how I do the sleight of hand, they'd say, oh, is that all? If I told you that one question out of context, you'd miss the magic. But you can see people who are adamantly pro-abortion becoming pro-life because they receive one question they've never heard before. Watch the whole thing. Over 3 million people have watched it. It's award-winning, and people change their mind when they get this added information, which they haven't got. You haven't got it. If you had it, you'd change your mind about abortion.
Let's step past this. Do you think abortion should just be illegal nationwide in the U.S.?
Of course.
Okay. Do you think that will decrease the number of abortions?
Of course.
How?
People won't have abortions if it's not legalized, sanctioned by the government, and people are paid $2,500 for 20 minutes work in abortion clinics.
I think you're wrong. I think you're very wrong. We have evidence, including a brilliant example of this is actually in El Salvador, where abortion restrictions legally are basically there is no abortion. And you know what happens? There's still people who want abortions get unsafe abortions. We see this around the world. And you're actually putting both the mother and the child at risk when you do that. It's very, very dangerous. It's incredibly dangerous.
Therefore Hitler legalized the killing of Jews. He shouldn't have done that. He should have done that because if it's illegal to kill Jews, people would have done it anyway, and it's a dangerous procedure killing Jews when it's illegal. That's crazy. You don't kill babies in the womb.
It's a bad comparison, Ray. It's a bad comparison, and you know that. And the Anti-Defamation League is very clear that this is incredibly offensive, combined with the fact that in the movie,
doesn't matter
Ray,
what
please let me get the question out, Ray.
Sure.
In the movie, in the context of comparing the procedure of abortion to the Holocaust and Hitler, you also call on viewers to repent and accept Jesus. Do you understand when taken
I do not. I never use that phraseology. And listen to this, Dave. It doesn't matter if the whole world says it's okay to kill a baby in the womb. It is not, whether it be the Anti-Defamation League, whether it be the President of the United States. I will never advocate the murder of children in the womb, and I'm going to stand for the right of children no matter what, if the whole world says it's wrong.
Just to get some context also, Christian Science, for example, doesn't believe in the use of antibiotics. Now, if there were to be a proposal to ban antibiotics based on that Christian Science belief, and if Christian Science employers were to say, you know, we can't have something as basic as antibiotics covered because it goes against our beliefs, would that be acceptable to you?
What's that got to do with killing babies in the womb? It's apples versus oranges. It makes no sense.
I'm just trying to provide some. I want to just interview you
about. It's
not
an analogy, Dave. How can you just? Okay, let me ask you a question. You believe it's okay that you believe it's a baby in the womb at a certain point of time, okay?
Ray, I just wanted to get your thought on that question as to what is acceptable.
It's an illegitimate analogy. It makes no sense.
I didn't make an analogy. I just asked a question.
I'm not a Christian Scientist. I can't speak for them.
Okay, how about contraception?
I'm not talking about contraception.
Ray, I think
I'm talking about the killing of babies in the womb.
Okay.
And there's a complete difference. Contraception is another issue.
Okay, is the morning after pill an abortion?
I think it is, apparently. I'm not sure.
Okay, but science indicates that it actually prevents the fertilization of the egg ever from happening. Would that still be an abortion?
If that's actually what happens, then it's not an abortion. But if the egg is fertilized, life has begun, and you don't dare touch life.
Both the egg and the sperm are alive before fertilization. Aren't you still killing?
Yeah, but there's no human life. We know that. Science tells us that.
Is masturbation a sin? Is masturbation
This is an issue I'm not going to address. Why would I address something like that? Might as well get into pornography and brothels and prostitution.
My last question to you, Ray, and I hope you'll answer it honestly. I think you will. I think you will answer this honestly. If the unfortunate situation came up where your wife or your daughter or someone you knew was loved to you was raped and was impregnated, and it came down to only one of them can survive unless you have an abortion, what would you do?
That never happens.
You're saying that there's no such thing as a medically necessary abortion?
No, I'm not saying that life is in danger. You just have a cesarean section. That's an illegitimate thing to say.
No, that's just not the case.
Let me finish, because it's often brought up. The woman, my wife or my daughter who's been raped by some horrible rapist, delivers the baby by cesarean section. My wife's healthy, the baby's healthy, and we raise that child as my daughter's child, which it is.
That's a fantasy world,
Why would I kill the baby
that is
for the crime of the father?
This is the incredible extreme view we actually heard John McCain almost get to about this exaggeration about medically necessary abortions. The idea that every pregnancy can result with both the mother and the child living is just, it's a misnomer. It's false.
Well,
it's very
can you tell me
dangerous
when
to
a
be
mother's
presenting
died because she didn't have an abortion?
I'm sorry?
When has the mother died when she didn't have an abortion? You deliver the baby cesarean section. That's all. It happens all the time.
I'm in shock that you're even questioning that a medically necessary abortion is a possibility. So no, I didn't prepare for such an incredible rebuttal.
That's why you need to watch 180movie.com so you get the other side, because, Dave, you've just had one side.
All
and
right.
I don't realize there's information you haven't yet come across.
180movie.com is the website.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate
Dave,
the conversation.
I appreciate you having me on your program. It's been great. Thank you.